south side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Guarantee, so the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Damn, Yumper, don't yell at us already.
God, use all caps and everything.
Yeah, he's taking playbook out of Mr. Hand's book there. All right, I'm going to learn to talk before we get started, I promise. All right. All right, you guys ready?
Don't blame me.
10-4.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, October 6th. I forgot what month it was. October 6th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Zawaski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
It's October, baby.
Oh, shut up.
You're an asshole.
The good Reverend K. Fitz.
I'm just over here on pins and needles knowing that my fiance currently is at a dinner with Mark Wahlberg right now. So hopefully she comes home tonight. But if she doesn't, at least I've got you three guys and tonight's podcast to keep me going. So.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. And the new kid on the block that is just gaining rapid popularity across the land, NASCAR Mitch.
What's up? Let the manager search begin. I gained 2 followers this week, baby. We're moving the needle.
Moving the needle, baby. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Oh God, I'm so glad I don't have to hear that shit anymore.
I know.
Oh my God. So it's over. It's finally over. It's over.
Thank God for that.
The Cubs and the White Sox 2022 baseball season is officially dead. It's over. One team, I would say, is a little bit as expected on the north side. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. Maybe
Right around there.
I would say better.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit better than
it.
yeah, a little bit better than expected. And one team was the biggest disappointment, arguably, in franchise history. And I'm not being overzealous when I say that.
No, you're not.
So it is the end of the season. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some positives. I don't really want to harp on negatives today. I feel like there's just been a whole fuck ton of negatives.
I think that's been a rolling conversation.
Yeah, so we'll take away some positives from the season as young Padawan down there, Mitch, alluded to. We'll talk about the manager's search, what's going on there. We'll touch on about José Abreu and how he's not going to the Cubs. And then, yeah, I mean, it's officially off-season podcast season. So, yeah, buckle up, Mitch. You don't even know what that means yet, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I think a movie draft
would
would definitely take a different tone with Mitch with his generational gap. I mean, he'll pull out some
he'll draft Air Bud 6 times.
Say Cars 3.
Yep. Cars 3 isn't bad. It's Cars 2 that sucks.
Air Bud sucks in the paint. I ain't drafting Air Bud.
No paint.
It's got no paint presence. I need bruisers down there. I would have a team of like 5 Bill Cartwrights if I could, just throwing elbows down there.
See, your age though is coming through with you thinking he's a basketball player when the original Air Bud, before he lost his leg, was actually a football.
He was a football player.
Lost a leg. That poor dog lost a leg.
And if we're doing fictional basketball characters, give me Teen Wolf all day.
Oh, the old one.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf. Yeah, there you go. Off-season podcasting. Let's get into it. Let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications, be the first to know if Justin Fields completes over 60 yards of passing in a single game. I don't think he's done that yet.
Oh, he did. He had that long pass to Mooney.
That's right.
60 yards.
He still sucks. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Yeah. So the White Sox season ended in the most perfectly poetic way possible. It's a lot of peace. With, I'm going to get a little emotional talking about him. With José Abreu requesting to not play on Wednesday. He wanted to, as he said, see it from the managerial point of view, kind of just sit back and take it all in, be with the guys. Like, Did not sound like a dude that's coming back to this team, but that's,
Spin
yet to be
zone.
seen.
Spin zone.
Manager Jose Abreu.
He's going to interview to be the player manager.
But if you're a diehard White Sox fan, the biggest giveaway should have been over his career with the White Sox. When things are going good, Jose speaks English directly to the media. When things are going bad, or he just doesn't want to talk to the media, he talks through Billy, the translator. And that final interview he did with that press, whatever, he didn't even look at the press. He just looked at Billy the whole time and was just like whispering in his ear.
And also, before that, when Rick Hahn spoke to the media, remember the last time that Abreu was going to be free agent, all the talk was like, he's going to be back. We're going to work something out.
Mm-hmm.
Abreu was saying, like, I'm going to re-sign myself. Like, I'm not. There's the whole Reinsdorf. He's not going to wear he's not going to wear another jersey outside of the White Sox.
Yep.
This time around, it was, we'll see what happens. And then Abreu was like, they haven't really talked to me.
Yep.
So not looking great for the diehards out there.
My thing there is I honestly don't think they know. I don't think they have like a game plan yet, which is scary as fuck. But I don't think they have like a. I do too.
I think they know, and I think they know that if they absolutely have to spend money to do something, and I don't think it's going to go towards.
Apologies, Brian.
Jose Abreu.
That is the 2020 Executive of the Year, Rick Hahn. I think Mitch is having some issues over there. He keeps going on mute. Now he's turning off his camera. I don't know. I think all this fame is going to his head.
Well, he's having a breakdown over Jose Abreu.
BJ, let's talk, buddy.
It's on too.
Let's talk, BJ. Let Abreu walk. He's too old. Move Eloy to DH and sign a fourth outfielder. I'm okay with Eloy to DH and signing a fourth outfielder. Wow, Mitch.
Dying.
But letting Abreu walk is too old. Do me a real big favor. Look up league leaders and hits for this season. Yeah, that's him.
Well, yeah, top. I mean, Jose Abreu is hitting like a Nick Madrigal.
Yeah. You need guys to get on base. You need guys to move that lineup. Maybe you don't bat him in the 4-hole anymore or 3 spot, but he still produces, man. He still produces.
This is what's crappy about this whole Abreu thing. And again, there are baseball reasons that you can like debate as to like why he's a little older.
And please keep in mind, I'm just being a huge baby because I love Jose Abreu.
the decline. I mean, there's going to be a decline in the defense, even though he has been pretty solid for the past like 3 years.
Yeah, it's actually gotten better with age.
The approach. I mean, hey, the approach didn't work for like the rest of the White Sox lineup, but it worked for Jose Abreu. Even though the home run numbers went down, he hit like over 300. Mm-hmm. He was still getting his doubles, and as you said, so he was up there near the top of the league in hits.
However, he had twice the WAR of any member of the White Sox roster. He had basically twice the WAR of anybody in that lineup. Twice.
Bury it. Just their best player.
He finished
that offense that was already mediocre this year. If you get rid of him, to be honest,
he finished 4th in Major League Baseball in total hits with 183.
And
only
then
because Bo Bichette went insane in this last month.
He went crazy. Yeah. And then the crappy thing is that all that doesn't matter because the White Sox are always going to be handicapped by how much they can spend. And as we saw last year, like they only have a certain number of resources that they can use in an off season. And Rick Hahn has already laid out those expectations. Like, yeah, guys, we're not going to be able to just throw money at this problem.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome thing to hear.
They have to be like, all right, well, are we going to commit another 16, 17, 18 million dollars to Jose Abreu when we have like 2 other guys that can slide into first base / DH? Right. Or are we going to use that money to try to get a decent second baseman, an actual right fielder?
Oh, if you take a step back and look at the baseball nuts and bolts of this, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mitch, where are you at with it?
Right now, I would bring him back. I love it. Maybe it's homerish, but I mean, he was one of the only players that could stay healthy. I feel like I'm saying the same thing every week. Like, it baffles me the people that are so quick to just get rid of, let Jose walk. Right. Like, I would trade. I mean, I don't know. I think with Abreu, you're getting the best defense between out of the 3. Like, his defense has gotten better every year. You're getting reliability every year. Like, he showed no signs of slowing down. He stays healthy, and he's one of the few people that looked like they gave a damn in the locker room. I mean, there was a lot of issues on this team, and Jose Abreu wasn't one of them. So I think if anyone deserved to come back, or you're going to give the benefit of the doubt, it would be him. Like, and look, I get it from the business side, but even then, like, I still think he brings too much to the offense and the team in general to like not at least try and bring him back. I would trade on before and like see what you could get for him before I let Abreu walk. And I don't, to be honest, I think you could coexist with both of them on the roster, but between the two, I'm keeping Abreu because he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Jumper's right, man. You guys, that's not homerish. He's literally one of the best bats in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah,
like
he's still good.
I mean, exactly.
It's because he's so consistently good that everyone takes him for granted. It reminds me of certain people that we know of that were on the other side of town. They take quality consistency for granted, and when that person's gone, you will have a chasm to fill that you don't even realize how deep it goes until you don't have it anymore. You ride the horse until the horse is done, and he is your Clydesdale, man. You can't let him walk. If you do, you're insane. And the White Sox offense, you thought it was bad this year. Unless they go out and pick up 3 dudes and spend a bunch of money, which they're not going to do if they're letting Abreu go, it ain't going to matter. No amount of moves will make up for what you lose in that lineup, in that locker room, as an actual leader and as somebody that helps just facilitate the entire franchise as their face. And also loyalty.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It doesn't matter like who he's had around him throughout his entire career. Like that lineup was ass when he first came into the league in 2014, and he's putting up 100 RBI seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Line of protection around him, he hits. No line of protection around him, he hits. People are injured, he hits. Sure, his RBI numbers are down. That's because no one was on base besides like slap hit singles. But like his strikeout numbers are at a new low. He had a ton of hits this year. I mean, there's no reason to not at least try and bring him back. It would be foolish and kind of a middle finger to him. You know, Jerry Reinsdorf from the White Sox, all about loyalty. Well, I mean, this is a guy that's gone out there and given his blood, sweat, and tears to the organization, and everyone's just like, let's just kick him to the curb because we're going to sign some middling second baseman. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
1-year deal, team option year 2. See how it plays out in year 1. Pay him well because he's going to be good next year. Backload the back with something smaller. The option even be smaller. Pay him for what he's worth now, which he is worth $20 million this season.
Kevin,
he might not be after the season. But.
Kevin, do you think he'd still wear 79 with the Cubs, or would he change his number?
I don't know. He might want to.
Realistically,
Realistically, right?
If José Abreu does walk, let's say he does, what's a destination you think for him? And don't say Cubs. Can't say Cubs.
Well, I mean, I think the number one answer is Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I would say Houston or maybe even San Diego, because I know I've heard a lot of people say Josh Bell's not coming back.
What about Anaheim? They just, they got rid of Pujols. So.
I think Houston makes.
I think Houston makes like just
more sense. It would be somewhere warm, I would think, and it would be a team ready to win now.
And again,
indoors. Just kidding.
And the other thing, I am trolling, but like if the Cubs need like a first baseman / DH.
Right. No,
do need.
José Abreu does fill a need for the Cubs, and I think that's
absolutely.
one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I get like mildly upset when you say it, because I can actually see it happening.
Convenient move.
Yes. He keeps his family, in place and blah, blah. Or maybe he just says, fuck it all, goes to Miami, closer to home, and is like, I'm just riding it out here.
Yeah, because like that wasn't that like a rumor?
Well, we said it was KB too. The fact that it would be very easy to stay in town. You don't have to do a lot of movement. Like that wasn't a horrible destination. That was not on his list. That was a win if that had come up. The same thing probably for Abreu. The less disruption in your regular life as possible, especially your routine.
Hold on. This is for Mitch. Yeah, dog NASCAR. Fuck Kyle Busch. Yeah, dog.
A little early, but we.
Yeah, dog goes by no clock. But Brian makes a great point here, though. Pollock accepts his option, which, God damn it, he's probably going to. After Arbs and Rays, his payroll is going to be around $170 million. Brian says he'd be surprised if the organization has a baseline around 160. They're not going to go to 190 again. And this actually brings a point that I wanted to mention. What night was it? I think it was Monday night. Our friend Josh Nelson from Sox Machine did one of his Twitter hangouts with Jordan, and it was definitely past Jordan's bedtime. I'm pretty sure he's still grounded. But
wait, Jordan Miller?
Jordan Lazowski.
Oh, Lazowski.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I say Jordan, there's only two men I speak of, Michael and Jordan Lazowski. But
Jordan Panettiere. No.
one of the things that Josh said, and
Abreu?
I think out of all bloggers,
Jordan Peele.
podcasters, and the White Sox, and I'm saying all, I think Josh is one of the most plugged in guys out there. And one of the things he said on the Hangout, which I thought was extremely interesting, is he's already being told that season ticket sales are atrocious for next year right now for the White Sox. Like worst they've ever been, atrocious. And because no one's buying season tickets, they lost like half their sales staff. Because these kids are sitting there trying to sell these things, they're not making any money. So they're just like, fuck this. I work on commission. I'm not going to make any money. I'm going somewhere else. I mean, the market's pretty volatile right now for salespeople. And so they're probably just like, yeah, I'm going to go somewhere and make money. But yeah, that'd be fine. That would never happen. But yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
No.
Yes. I would do that in a heartbeat. I'll take that bait. Yeah. But I feel
like
sign
and trade.
Well, what's the one thing that we've said on this show a million times that Rick Hahn's really good at in his tenure with the White Sox?
Lawyer talk.
Well, besides
makes
that,
Jerry money.
Makes Jerry money.
Yeah,
And you know what's happening right now? Jerry ain't making no money. So I feel like I said it before. I said at the deadline, like this is the trade deadline that can really dictate the rest of Rick's career with the White Sox, and he just did nothing. Hence my name down here. But this could be the offseason where they're just like, I could either see Jerry being like, all right, well, you know what? They're saying fuck me, so fuck them. And they're just not going to do anything. Or he goes the same route as that old dude in Detroit did before he kicked it. And it's just like, here's the checkbook. Go fucking bananas.
Like seriously, like what is Jerry most concerned with right now? Like honestly, getting a good pee in right now is probably more important to Jerry Reinsdorf than how much money he spends on a winner. He wants to win. He needs a distraction. He's like Mari Baldstein. Come on, just a little peeps. And he's out here. He's trying to get some. He's trying to. I think he needs to. I mean, there's no guarantee for tomorrow for anybody, obviously. But obviously, his time is ticking, and for him, I don't know how there's not a panic. Like say. Oh, like I don't know how he doesn't open it up. To be honest, like guys, wouldn't you? Like if you were in that position where you're like, this is not, I got nothing left.
The White Sox.
You can't take it with you. Let's go.
We've seen the White Sox. So this is obviously every time a front office guy speaks, you have to kind of like read in between the lines, and there's a part of like there's like probably a small bit of truth and like just a lot of bullshit talk. But I remember last year, Rick Hahn in the offseason, right at like in October when they did their end of the year press conference, and they were talking about the needs that the team had to fill, which was second base and right field. Mm-hmm. And obviously the bigger at the time, because there was I think the free agent market for outfielder was a lot better than for second baseman, at least. He like literally said, like just straight out of it, he's like, yeah, we're for right field, we're probably looking at internal options. And everyone was like, at first they were like, he's just saying that right now. He doesn't want to give anything away. Look at all these good free agents out there. Like they should be aggressive and go after them. They need a right fielder. They haven't had a right fielder in 10 plus years, whatever it's been.
It's gonna be Colas.
And then they just didn't. And what was their solution? It was just like, all right, we have Gavin Sheets. We'll mix in Andrew Vaughn. When Engel was healthy, and then Pollock when he started.
We'll just throw a bunch of first basemen out there. Someone will figure it out.
And again, maybe Rick.
so bad. It's so fucking bad.
Back to this season.
What a dumbass plan. Yeah, just throw some first basemen out there. They'll figure it out.
And so then when he had this little press conference the other day after the La Russa retirement, and he's talking to the media, and again. Or maybe he just like somebody told him like, hey, Rick, stop being like such a fucking cocky asshole. You haven't accomplished shit. Stop like having these press conferences and, giving yourself so much credit before winning anything. But he did, again, pretty much say, yeah, guys, we're not going to be spending a lot of money. We're going to go do the trade route and hopefully I can fix this. Otherwise, but not directly. He's like, yeah, ownership, ownership. We're not going to spend a lot of money.
So I think he might be doing that. I have a theory. Rick constantly gets torched for the money will be spent line. So maybe he's trying to tamper, like he's trying to like switch it up a little bit. Like, guys, I'm not going to spend money. Surprise! Like, you know,
Surprise Larry Garcia extension.
Yeah, God.
Fooled you.
Fooled you. Here's Aaron Judge. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like he loves the lawyer talk, and maybe that's what he's doing. He gets real pretty with them mouth words.
I mean, yeah,
And
maybe he's just setting all-time low expectations.
Yes.
I have to say this, man. It takes I mean, maybe we should put a moratorium on calling your shot for a bit, because there's been a lot of dudes that are getting burned on these cold takes. But like after the parade, you got to have a little bit of sack to go. Yeah, after the parade, like at least you got to appreciate the moxie, because if they won the World Series this year, we're going back to that moment, going, "Oh, Han has a pair." But now those things are so shrunken, and they're like a horse. It's all up in the body. Yeah. They're just gone.
You have what's so crazy?
They're snipped. They're snipped.
You know what's so crazy too about think about just like everything that's gone wrong with the White Sox, and much by their own doing. Yes, again, they had a lot of bad luck with injuries, but every fucking team does. Mm-hmm. Look at the Braves last year; they lost their best player, didn't fucking miss a beat in the second half. It's not like the White Sox back in after 2020 or even after 2021. It's not like they needed to land the number one free agent out there, right?
No,
it's not like they didn't need the $300 million contract. Yeah, they could have had their choice of like those solid to good free agents, and they're just like Kendall Graveman, Joe Kelly, Gavin Sheets can hold it down. Like, whoa.
This tweet,
what was that?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this tweet is about a half hour old. Vinny Duber, Brian cracks me up, dude. Brian's a funny fucking guy. Brian, drop your Twitter handle in the chat, dude. I'll fucking bump it for you. You're a funny dude, man. But anyways, apparently when everyone left the stadium today, all the fans cleared out. Vinny Duber from CHGO, new buddy of mine, he's a good dude, took this awesome picture. Somebody left a sign on the 2005 White Sox statue that's right in front of home plate, and it just says, "If Abreu leaves, so do I." Oof. And I don't know why this picture is like hitting me so hard, but it's just like the fact that it's dark and there's not a soul there and all the windows are locked up. It's just like, I don't know, dude. It's a cool picture. Good job, Vinny. That's fucking dope. Sorry, that caught my eye and I was just like, holy shit. Oh, here. Everybody that's watching the show, go follow Brian right now at Magnificent Stan. Dude is fucking hilarious. But
okay, so I think we literally started the show saying that we didn't want to go to the negatives. So after all that negative talk, let's get to some positives.
Well, the biggest positive for me would be Eloy Jimenez the second half.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going with Eloy Jimenez second half. Eloy Jimenez is the best hitter on the White Sox right now. At the end, as this season concluded, if you look back on the season, the best hitter on the White Sox, Jose Abreu, obviously, we just talked about, finished top 10 batting average in the league, whatever. Eloy Jimenez is the best hitter on the White Sox.
Yep. If he stayed healthy, he would have been a legitimate MVP candidate. He wouldn't have beat Judge most likely. But you look at his numbers. If he kept that up for a full season, didn't get hurt, he'd be right up there.
He'd be in the like top 10 voting or whatever. He'd get votes, But yeah, I guess that's going to be my biggest positive takeaway from this season. And then I don't know. Let's kind of go round robin here, Mitch. What do you got?
I'm going wild card. Davis Martin, my biggest positive. Now, his last start today kind of dampened the mood, like bad timing. But before today's start, where he gave up 9 runs, he had a sub-4 ERA, and they kind of just threw him in random spots. Let's be honest, no one heard of who Davis Martin was before the season. He wasn't in spring training. He had a really funny story about how he was in Double-A. And he was like in the bullpen and he smelled cigarettes, and it was his pitching coach.
It was actually me.
Huh?
It was me. I was ripping.
Yeah, it was
burners back there. Yeah, I was ripping heaters.
But no, I mean, he just kind of came out of nowhere, pitching some really big spots, and I mean, he showed me something. I mean, it's a good feel-good story. I think maybe carve out a role next year as a long reliever. I definitely wouldn't have him in the starting rotation, but I think the kid earned a spot, and it's nice to have these feel-good underdog stories once in a while.
I can fuck with that, and I guess staying on the pitching side of things, obviously Dylan Cease showing off that he's a bona fide ace in this league. He took the huge stride forward. He's not going to win the Cy Young. That's Justin Verlander's. But he's top 3 candidate for Cy Young. Like,
I think
had a great year.
Should win.
Still some bumps to smooth out.
That was the first year for a full season where we're like, this is the guy we expected to get from the Cubs. He'd shown flashes of it, but this was like, yes, this is finally the guy we've envisioned. His transformation, so to speak, is complete.
I agree. And then my other pitching one was Raylo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great word, by the way. Keuchelish is a great word.
Yeah.
You have a rough year and you're kind of a dick, you're Keuchelish.
Raylo, we didn't know what to do with Raylo. He showed flashes. We knew he had a big arm. And then all it took was some fucking stupid ass LASIK eye surgery. And he came back, and we talked about it last week about the possibility of trading Liam Hendricks. If that does go down, maybe you give Raylo a shot at closer. I think he's earned that chance.
Yeah, why not?
But his emergence, like, he not only did he secure a bag for himself for the next couple of years, because relievers like that get paid. I think it's awesome for a guy like that to finally find his place in Major League Baseball. Like, he didn't know, was I starter, was I long reliever, was I short reliever, whatever. But yeah, I'm really happy for Ray. He just seems like a good guy too. He's easy to root for.
Yeah,
so,
very much so. And we almost thought he wouldn't be on the team after he lost out on the fifth starter job to Carlos Rodon. Like, no one knew what he would do. Then now, yeah, like you said, he's carved out a nice role for himself, which is good to see.
What else?
I have another positive here.
Yeah, lay it on me. I'm liking it. Although I appreciate you bringing this up because I'm feeling way better right now.
Oh man, I think I saw the sign earlier, like in the crowds.
Dude,
but yeah, I didn't see
but
this
you got to
picture.
know, Fidge. You got to get the one where it's like zoomed out. It's like
just
way
more
eerie.
lonely.
It's like more
desolate.
eerie and like desolate. That's a good word. And like eerie and like
So who would have thought that you were going to get a 1.9 WAR season from Sebi Zavala?
Seb,
How about
that's Mitch's
that?
guy, dude.
Seb.
That's Mitch. I'm all about it, dude. I think Seb. Well, what's his face showed these last couple games with the call up and the no point games. Perez. There you go. Look at that picture.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, gee.
That's
With
the Sox logo like in the background and the office light still on in the top left corner. Like, whoo, girl.
That's
That
Rick
is
Hahn like talking to Jerry up there.
Yeah,
man,
that's-
like,
Wait a second. Is somebody hanging Rick Hahn over the edge like Suge Knight did to Vanilla Ice?
I was just gonna say Vanilla Ice
Same thing.
style. See, we're on the same page with references. But I think competition brings the best out of teams. And especially for a team where depth was a glowing issue all season, you have Yasmani Grandal, in which you can only hope bounces back next year. I know injuries really fucked him up this year, but you hope, because that's money that's not coming off the books. But that backup catcher shot, Sevy versus Perez.
Yeah.
Let's go. Giddy up. Best man gets the spot. I love it. That's
Fair.
what sports should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I like that shit. And that actually brings me to the next position of need, which is second base. I don't know what they're going to do with Elvis. I think Elvis might be fool's gold.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was Lurie Garcia before he got here. And then he had a great month. And he's never played second base before in his life. And he's in his mid-30s. I'm just saying, you have to lay it all out. Like, yes, it's been
Totally
awesome.
agree.
I love the Elvis gifts. I love rooting for him. He's been a huge spark plug, for this otherwise down team in this last month of the year. But like, especially for a team that's so tight up for money. Fucking yeah, dog.
I don't even know what that means, and I'm about to die.
I don't think he knows. He doesn't know what it means either, but it's provocative. I don't know what you do with Elvis. I really don't. I don't really care either way. If you do bring him back on a 1-year deal with a second player option, because he's getting the mid-30 player deal.
Like,
You know what I mean? You're not
the one thing I'll say
signing
about
for a
Elvis
3-year
Andrus
deal.
is if you were a White Sox fan and when they signed Josh Harrison, you're like, what the fuck? You should have the same reaction to Elvis Andrus.
If Elvis Andrus gets more than a year contract with a second-year option than the White Sox, it's what the fuck are you doing?
Like, that's not a move that you're making if you're a serious contender.
Exactly.
Like, this is a move that you make because you had an emergency,
but
not because this is your answer long term or like for a whole season.
Brian kind of beat me to it in the chat. I honestly think someone else is going to try to offer Elvis a bag for shortstop.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe.
And I think that, I mean, they're going to literally take it away from Han, like protect him from himself.
Which
Best case scenario.
I'm all for it.
Best case scenario is like you want the Twins to be stupid because they're not going to have Correa.
I'm not worried about that.
Oh, Elvis Andrews, come save us.
They're always dumb. But I also, now the White Sox are tweeting out quotes from Jose Abreu with infographic. Oh, that's from 6 hours ago. I'm just seeing it now. But anyways, yeah, Elvis will get it back somewhere else. So at second base, though, you got Romy. You got Danny Mendick coming back from injury. You guys remember, Mendick wasn't having a bad year before he got hurt.
He was solid.
He was carrying the offense.
He's pretty good. I mean, obviously, Larry Garcia's still here for some reason.
Lenin
Sosa, if he can straighten his shit out. So that's another position, though, where they actually can have a competition. You know, I mean, obviously, Larry Garcia's on the team. It's just, you got to accept that fact.
Well, if he's used as like an actual utility player, and now that Tony's gone, maybe he's not in the lineup every day.
He's
like
not going to bat leadoff.
Overpaid, fine bench player to have. You know, there's nothing wrong with having Larry Garcia on your team.
Yep, spot starts. That's it.
Exactly. They completely misused him this past year. And it made him look a lot. I mean, look, he shouldn't be starting every day on a contending team, but if he is used properly, Leury Garcia is a fine asset to have on your bench.
Absolutely. That's it.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. And then I think the other, I mean, you got to have a healthy, for all these other positions, it's just health. You know what I mean? It's Luis Robert, got to be back and have 2 functioning arms.
That is something, and I know we're trying to stay positive. Sorry, I'm dragging the mood back down again. But that is something that was really concerning, especially hearing some of his comments afterwards where he was like, yeah, I was trying to play her, which props to him for being tough. I mean, we saw times Eloy just was like, I'm done, and he was fine. But like, so props to him for trying to gun through it. But he was like, I was developing some really bad habits with my swing, like that were going to carry over. And Sebi Zavala talked about that too. Like he was like warning him. It's why he had a bad offensive season last year because he said, like, I had a similar hand injury. I tried to play through it. And then, like, the stuff I had to do to minimize the pain with my swing, it carried over the next year. And it took me, like, a couple months to, like, shake it. So that is something I'm a little concerned about with Luis Robert, especially if you look at his second half stats. It was pretty ugly. So hopefully he can correct that because playing those last couple weeks, really, like, not only was it throwing away at bats, it was bad for his growth overall as a player.
On a positive note, though, too, and then Tanner McDougal actually just confirmed this. He said Garrett Crochet looked like legitimate.
I was going to definitely get to that. I heard Garrett Crochet is just like fucking...
on that flip. He's going to be a big addition. It's like getting a free agent dude that could actually be. I mean, you could throw him as a setup man, but like you guys have talked about, it's not entirely impossible to stretch him out at this point through his rehab. As he's coming back, he's probably going to be as healthy now as he's ever been for a bit. Mm-hmm. And
you saw how they babied Kopech a little bit different, but I don't see him rushing him into a starter spot.
No, I'm saying like 3 to 5 innings pitched, kind of like who did the Cubs do that with this year? Although
they started doing that last year with they did it with Steele, with Thompson.
Steele, yeah.
They started doing that with Thompson again this year and Steele. Early on, they were keeping the pitch count lower.
But and then this is another name though for second base, Jose Rodriguez. I saw his name pop up a lot in Double-A. So you got that, and then right field. I in my opinion, it's going to be Oscar Colas. I don't see him spending money. I don't see him doing anything. I feel like they're going to, like I said last week, Fids, when you were trying to sell us the Vegas guy, they're going to say we have McDonald's at home. We're not going to go out and get McDonald's. We got McDonald's at home. It's Oscar Colas.
Is that McDonald's the AAA World Series Championship MVP?
You forced my hand.
McDonald's I tried to sell you.
Like Wendy's. My hand, Fids. You forced my hand.
I don't give a shit. How about that?
You forced my hand.
I would love Wendy's at home more than McDonald's, so you could maybe get Wendy's.
I was going to say,
McDonald's has like a whole Happy Meals now.
And then maybe
I'm getting one of those tomorrow, dude. My wife saw that today. I'm gonna go get one tomorrow, dude, for sure.
Tell me what the toy is, because they said there's a toy in there too, along with the beer pouch.
Can we have a conversation about how creepy the fucking Grimace looks with fucking 4 eyes? It's terrifying to me. Was adult happy? Have you seen Grimace's toy? I mean, Grimace is already a creepy ass.
No, I just
Grimace.
Creepier than that. Grimace is Grimace. He seriously, Grimace is.
But
so
I think.
Listen, wait, I have a name for right field, by the way.
Lay it on me. I'm all ears.
listening back to last week's episode with Beeflo.
If you say
Shout out
Jason
Beeflo.
Hayward, I am leaving.
No. This is
I'll
a
just say
serious.
it,
This is
just
a
to call his bluff.
serious.
Say Jason Hayward, see if he's bluffing.
This is a serious suggestion. This is a serious suggestion. I already did the Jason Hayward troll last.
You guessed it. Frank Stallone.
So what do the White Sox need? Left-handed hitter, left-handed, hopefully outfielder, some pop. Maybe you can get him cheaper because he's had kind of a down year power-wise.
Please say my guy. Please say my guy.
I don't think so. But
from
your Seattle Mariners only has one more year before he becomes a free agent.
No,
Jesse Winker.
No, I thought you were going to say Haniger. I was like, they're not going to spend on Haniger.
Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker, he's been kind of shitty this year because the power numbers are down.
I could see
What does he do?
It's a very White Sox thing to do.
He still walks a lot, and then he still has a lot of power in that bet. Just it's a down year. But
that's a very White Sox signing. And by the way, I'm officially a Seattle Mariners fan for the playoffs.
I'm going Phillies. I'm rooting for the Phillies, by the way. But I
wasn't. When I said say my guy, I know all you in the chat, and I'm not going to say his name, Yumper.
Adam Frazier.
No, I was talking about Cody Bellinger.
Oh,
well, he's going to the Cubs.
You're gonna go
Jock Peterson. I thought you were going to Peterson. Yeah.
I want Cody Bellinger.
Mainly the Cubs are getting Cody Bellinger.
I'm just a huge fan of Cody Bellinger. It's like he can play right field. He's a big lefty bat. He's had a down year. He had a little bit of a bounce back this year. They like putting guys that can play first base and right field.
And he actually can play right field, so it's actually.
But he's actually
solid. He's like
he's got an absolute hose out there, dude. He can fucking play the outfield.
No, Cody Bellinger is pretty.
It's better than this.
I didn't. By the way, it just goes to show you. You just see some plays like from Vaughn, and it's like, oh, like he wasn't that bad. But then and I know analytics aren't perfect, but man, I didn't realize he was literally the worst outfielder in baseball.
The worst outfielder in baseball.
Feel like you knew he was under below average, but it never felt like he was the worst. And then I guess
that's the other thing.
You made the easy ones look hard.
That's the other thing that White Sox fans really need to fuck off with is telling me that he wasn't that bad in the outfield. Statistically, he was the worst outfielder in baseball. I get it, dude. I watched every game too. Mitch did too. He's the worst outfielder in baseball.
It's like the anti-Yasmani Grandal from his first year. Everyone's like, he looked terrible. It's like, well, the numbers say he's actually a pretty good.
Actually, he's pretty good, and he gets on base a shit ton. It's not bad. But I don't know. They're gonna need to figure it out in right field. But the thing is, this is all gonna have to come via trade. So who do you trade? I trade Gavin Sheets.
Yep.
I mean, we all know what we almost did.
Yeah, I mean, hey, call again.
Yeah, I mean, see if they just gave him $30 million. You got to guarantee $30 million on the books for the 1 year deal.
Just leave a voicemail. Actually, talk to somebody. See if you can get through the secretary.
Hold on. I want to ask you guys something about that.
We left the voicemail. We had to sit at the table at the phone and. Just didn't work out.
I dialed 0 for the general inquiries line, and nobody got back to me. I even sent them info at.
Mitch, you are our official Rick Hahn impersonator for this show.
Yeah, dude. That was really good. Mitch has Rick Hahn.
You can add that to your Twitter bio. NASCAR Minute Mitch and official Hahn impersonator for Pinwheels Ivy.
Impressionist.
But I really love what the Angels did with him, giving him the 1 year $30 million. To avoid arbitration. But how awesome is it going to be when they turn around and call these teams and they're like, you can have them for $30 million and then you got a year to figure it out. It's a pretty good deal.
Yep.
We already set the market for you right there, and then you can give him, whatever, his own island, whatever the fuck you want to do. But I think that was a really good strategy by them. I don't think he plays a full year in Anaheim next year.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's a chance in hell he plays a full year in Anaheim. But I think that just
I don't think he starts the year in Anaheim.
I can see it. I mean, I know people seem to think that them giving him $30 million is going to make it all better and go away. No. Well, all they did was make him a more enticing trade piece.
Yeah, I mean, they made his life better, but the Angels still suck.
The Angels are terrible. They have 2 generational talents. Mike Trout just had another 40 home run, 100,000
OPS season. The quietest 40 home run season.
He missed 40. He missed 40 games.
He missed 40
games and hit 40 home runs this year.
Now he doesn't jump around and say, "Everybody, look at my wiener." He's not that kind of guy. So, again, 40 home runs goes under the radar.
He got more PR this
Was
year
that
for
so?
snubbing those kids an autograph than he did for hitting the 40 home
I
run.
kind of wish he was that jump around, look at my wiener guy, because
Yeah.
he needs to market himself better, dude. Well, he needs to get out of Anaheim. He needs to
Well,
stop
see, that's the
playing
thing,
baseball
though.
games at 11 o'clock at night.
That's the
Some
thing,
guys
though.
like
He
to
didn't
stay
even
in at
need
night,
to.
tuck it in, and dance with their shawl on. You know,
I'm just saying.
put a load of
Trout-
I remember
Trout
it was
White
like his
Sox.
second or third year in the league. I went to go see him play when they came to Chicago, and it was like the first time in his career. I think it's the only time in his career today. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. John Dank struck him out 3 times, and it was off. I actually wanted to see Mike Trout play with it. He just walked back to the dugout 4 times in a row. There you go.
You saw history.
Yeah, honestly.
Did that happen recently too against the White Sox? And it's like he's only done that like 5 times in his career, and like it was twice against the White Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and from now on, when all of you talk at the same time, instead of getting mad, I'm just gonna start saying really stupid shit out loud because it's just gonna get blended in.
Because that's the thing. We could always hear like a bit of it. Like all I heard was like, I would want to see him do that.
Yeah, or when you guys were just doing, when you guys just did it last time, I go, Mike Trout to the White Sox confirmed, and no one heard me, so we'll just keep going. I'm just gonna keep doing that from now on because fuck it, off-season podcasting, baby.
Where are you going?
Where were we?
Yeah, no, it's right, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, yeah, no, you got to put your fucking NASCAR boner away, man. We do that at the end, dude.
Yeah.
What contract is terrible? $30
lot
million
of them.
for 1 year of Ohtani? Sign
No,
me up for that.
he's talking about Trout.
Oh, Trout, that's not terrible either.
He's worth every penny.
Yeah,
Yes. What? Stop.
We don't like to pay the athletes.
But that's the other thing. But so you need Luis Robert back healthy. Let him heal up. I think Yohan Moncada showed some really good flashes in the second half of the season. His glove remained consistent all year. It was the bat that was, bad for the first half of the year, first 3 quarters of the year. But okay, maybe fix that up. But as far as trade pieces are concerned, my number 1 trade piece for the White Sox is Liam Hendricks. Number 2 is Gavin Sheets. And lost in all of this is Tim Anderson's coming back. You know that guy that started the All-Star game?
Well,
He's pretty good.
Which Tim Anderson are you get?
Well, we'll find out.
Another guy, complete lack of respect for. All of a sudden, he's gone for a couple weeks. Everyone forgets about him.
Right, which
No, but see, the
I never thought I had to
is,
remind White Sox fans that the dude just literally started the All-Star game this year.
Yeah.
the crappy thing is like when you look at the number, at least numbers wise, again, you don't know what he means to the clubhouse and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, Elvis Andrews did like perform at similar clip, and it just did not matter.
Yep.
Like it has to be the other guys. Like Luis Robert has to be the stud. He has to stay healthy. Eloy Jimenez can't keep just getting injured on stupid ass shit. Because otherwise, you can still have like a great hitting shortstop. Like you had that production there, even without Tim Anderson for the last 2 months, and it did not matter.
Yeah. I mean,
And Yohan Moncada too. Like
disagree with you on that.
that's probably the biggest guy.
He's on Tim's level right now.
he's getting there.
He's better defensively already. He's one of the best. He's arguably the best defensive shortstop in baseball, something Tim will never be. So I'll take that right there. So it is an actual debate. It's not dumb Cub fans, Jumper. I'm sorry. I would actually right now at this point where the way they're playing with the black cloud that's been surrounding Tim Anderson, I would take Nico Horner 9 out of 10 times. Sorry. I'm not sorry for that. But I'm not sorry for that opinion though.
You don't have to be. I mean, you don't have to be.
His numbers come back this year as one of the top 3 or 4 shortstops in the game of baseball, and Tim Anderson's not close right now.
If we do the
Right
Nico versus Tim debate right now, it's like a similar thing of 2019 when he first popped out, and it was TA versus Baez. Because at the time, Baez was coming off 3 straight good years. It was Tim Anderson's first great year, and it's like, well, yeah, like Tim Anderson, he had a great season.
Yeah, let's see do it all. Yeah,
for 2 years.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
I
fine.
agree with that.
It's hard to judge when Tim Anderson has a down year, but the fact is, right now, currently, if I had to put a lineup together, I would put Nico Horner in the lineup over Tim Anderson right now. But that's right now. There's an offseason to come in. There's an offseason where he could come back, and if he plays like this next year, I would still take Nico if it stays this way currently as it is right now. Yes, have more than one good year, but if it stays like this consistently, this is the baseline of both. I take Nico Horner on this because I take the defense and a dude that's going to swipe 20
favor.
here. And
First and foremost, stop fucking saying you're sorry. Second of all, I would probably put Nico in.
sorry, though, 'cause
I'd
I know
probably
it
put
confused
Nico in
people.
right now too, because Tim's got a broken ass hand.
Well, that
Like
too. That
Tim Law missed 2 months of the season. I understand what you're saying about Nico, and I agree with both you and all those take here, where I just need to see a couple more seasons. Tim's won batting titles. He's an all-star game starter, and
true.
I don't think. I
His
mean, I
bad
think it's.
year was 301.
I think it's a little. Yeah, his bad year was 301, and I think I don't agree with the statement that Tim will never be an elite defensive shortstop. I think he can get there. I really do.
The tools are there. I mean, will he probably
it's more between the ears with him?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know, but I get what you're saying, and I'm not by any means sitting here saying Nico's not good. I think Nico
he had double the WAR of Tim Anderson this year. I mean, of course. So
Tim missed 2 fucking months. Stop doing that, Kevin. You're sounding.
Do you want to see the numbers
like
from
a
the last
Cub fan.
3 months of the season last year?
You're smarter than this.
Do you want to see the numbers from the last 3 months of the last year's season too?
That's 3 months, Kevin. Stop taking fucking cherry picking.
Okay, so 2 season and a half is not enough. Got it.
It's what the same one where Nico wasn't an all-star and Tim started the all-star game? Or are we including the part where Tim was the batting champion?
But I was told that all-stars don't matter because it's voted on by
I didn't tell you that, so don't put it in this argument. I don't give a fuck what some moron on Twitter said. If you
That's why I kept saying sorry. That's why I kept saying sorry. That's why I kept saying sorry.
That's why I get frustrated, because you're smarter than this.
I said sorry for a reason.
Anyways.
No, come on. So it's because so again, so 2022, Nico Horner, he finally played a full majority of a full season, and he popped off. And yes, it's unfair because Tim Anderson missed the last 2 months, and then he just declined so rapidly after he came back from his injury. But again, it goes back to, do you think he's going to be better the next 3 years? Like, obviously now, who has the better track record? Yeah, Tim Anderson.
Right.
He's been here like 320 for 3 years.
But I would say Nico is treading in a better direction.
Yeah.
But
I mean, guy, this is all semantics right now.
Right.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a silly thing to be like, he's the best shortstop in the city.
I mean,
do you think that Tim Anderson will be the starting shortstop of the Chicago White Sox after 2024?
I don't know.
That's why. I mean, I was just asking.
I don't know, because Tim could come back and bat 332 this year again and fucking be the amazing top 3 shortstop he was 2 years ago, or he can come back from this injury and be dog shit. I don't know. Not a doctor. Again, I don't know what he's going to do. Nico definitely had a good year and is treading in the right direction. He's a very, very good shortstop. I think the Cubs have solidified that position, which is great, because the Cubs, if you want to talk about the positives from the Cubs, they had so much young talent on that team that just showed, like we talked about Sebi showing us something, or like Romy showing us something. The Cubs had a lot of guys that showed us something. I mean,
a lot of pitching, which is good to see, because you always want pitching depth, right? Because you never want to get stuck in a situation where, like, you do sign a big free agent starting pitcher and, like, they get hurt or they struggle, and then because you did that, you didn't really add, like, another depth guy. But the Cubs don't really have to worry about the depth people. They have the depth people. They have a lot of depth people. Now they just need to go for that star pitcher. Pitching's
expensive. If you could have a bunch of homegrown pitching, it's going to save a lot of money, and you can go look elsewhere and spend money elsewhere. But they also, what's the kid's Morel,
Christopher Morel, solid utility guy.
You think he's a utility guy? You think that's where he's at?
Yeah, because I mean, he's not, unless they're going to stick him at second base, which I wouldn't mind, but I don't think he's like an everyday guy, or like an everyday. He's not he's not the guy that you pencil in, like you start the year, like, yeah, this guy's going to start 150 times at one position. He'll probably be good for like a 130 to 140 games and like second base, center field. Maybe you need your shortstop day off. He can play third base. He can play all over the place. But center field has been all that pretty. And again, it's not his natural position, so I didn't really expect him to be that great defensively in center field, but it hasn't been that good, really. He's a freak athlete, but that just because you have that doesn't mean you're going to be great defensively. I think second base is his best position on defense, but then
what happened with the Asian dude?
Suzuki bounced back. He did great.
Okay, that was a genuine question. I wasn't trying to be like.
The Cubs it's so frustrating because, again, there are a lot of positives, especially on the pitching side.
Mhm.
But offensively, they have two very solid corner outfielders. Like Ian Happ is maybe going to win a Gold Glove for left field. He's been really good, and his offensive numbers stayed consistent the entire year. I think he had maybe a 2-week stretch where he dipped, and you're like, oh, here we go, Ian Happ. He's going to go back to being bad. No, he just stayed consistent the entire year.
And if I recall, wasn't that near the trade deadline too? It was kind of that dip, so he had all those distractions going on anyway.
Yep, that was in July, when he started to maybe getting in his head a little bit. Seiya Suzuki had his ups and downs, but you'll take it because he was a rookie. First time facing MLB pitching. He had his success. Then he got just beat up for a while. Then he had an injury, came back, was great again, then got adjusted to again, and then he made the adjustment back again. So great. You love to see that from Seiya Suzuki. We mentioned Morel. He's a guy who you can plug into a couple different spots. Nico Horner, breakout year. Top 2, top 3 defensive shortstop in the league. Love it. And then
I think he was the best.
And then, he was second among shortstops. He was second among shortstops in outs above replacements. He was 4.4. His WAR was 4.4 this year, by the way. I apologize for that. My apologies. It was higher than all but 2 of Team Anderson's seasons. And 11% strikeout rate, 733 OPS, which is 5th among shortstops. His strikeout rate was second in the National League, and then his 19 stolen bases were the most by a Cub since 2018.
So the Cubs have they had 4 guys that you can count on. They kind of know what you're getting heading into next season, and then they have that dude who just killed it at all the levels this year in the minor leagues, Matt Mervis. It's all right.
I feel like every time I open Twitter, it was another video of him hitting a bomb. Dude.
Yeah. I think he had 36 home runs this year. So it's all right. Well, maybe that's a guy that you can at the beginning of the year platoon against, at first base or maybe DH. I have no clue how good he is defensively, but all I know is that dude just has been hitting ever since the Cubs signed him. I think he was an undrafted free agent in 2020.
Yep.
And then sadly, you do have some holes that they do have to fill. Because again, second base, I wish Nick Magical stayed healthy. He hasn't. Every single year, injury. Multiple injuries, it seems like. I'd do it for you, Yad Dog.
Wait, real quick, although since Yad Dog's back here, what is Yad Dog's obsession with your forehead, Fitz?
He wants to buy it as property.
Okay, weird.
Sure. I mean, it's more like a 5-head anyway, so I'm not sure he calls it a 4-head. But
didn't Lincoln ban that?
Not with 5 heads. It's property. You just put a pin here that says "Yeah, dog space." He doesn't live rent free though, so it's fine. He's gonna have to pay. But
so the Cubs need a center fielder. They're gonna have Brendan Davis up eventually, but again, he had a shaky year in 2022, and then injury stuff too. So he's not a guaranteed guy to start the year with the Cubs next year. Even Matt Mervis, he killed it at AAA. We've seen a lot of guys kill it at AAA.
Right.
Canario too. Canario.
Alexander Canario, he had more home runs than Matt Mervis. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
So that's the thing.
Can they do it?
The same thing with the White Sox. As the Cubs, you just have to spend the money because you just have to do it.
As a Cubs fan, I would think you'd have to be thrilled with the way the season went, especially early on. How bad it looked. Boy, this team stinks. It doesn't look like they had early on. It didn't look like they had a whole lot of future pieces there anyway. It was an unwatchable product, and the fact they were able to turn it around that second half, they were kind of a fun team to watch. It gave me a little bit of 2019 White Sox vibes. You could tell they're on the cusp. But you said it. They're just going to have to spend the money.
The question is also with that too, though, is how do these guys play when the Cubs have been out of it since the end of May. So how do these guys play in a pennant run? How do these guys play when the pressure's actually on? And how do they play when you can't show up every third day and have a big day and then have consistent winning baseball? I mean, the Patrick Wisdom show is a perfect example. Everyone gets excited about that because he shows up and he has a great day every 7 days, every 7 games. It's awesome, but it's a losing ball club kind of thing. But the stats look great. In this case, the pressure's off on these guys, and they went out and they played. And look, you want to talk about guys that played really good baseball. I mean, the Cubs went out and got again. I'm not a big fan of him for everything that happened with KB and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. But Jed Hoyer is the king of finding someone's trash and turning into a goddamn diamond. I mean, look at Franmil Reyes. I mean, look at what he has done since the Cubs have gotten him. I mean, people are like, I've seen Cub fans demand that he come back as a DH. I mean, it's a good DH. I mean, you got to see how everything floats out. But he picks up people's trash heap all the time. I mean, Canario, Mervis, these are all guys that nobody else wanted, and he saw something. The analytics team, the advanced scouting, whatever it is, these guys do a hell of a job of picking out other people's talent once they get an opportunity to see them like in a professional environment. Not so good at drafting actual prospects, but they're fantastic at looking at guys now once they've started playing within the construct of professional baseball. Guys to judge on it. I color me impressed.
And then on the pitching side, just to finish off like the positives for the Cubs. Like the starting rotation was, I think, a top 3 or top 2. I think they were like right behind the Dodgers in the second half.
Yeah.
The rotation was unbelievable. Marcus Stroman came back from, I think he had like COVID and another injury. I forget what it was back in the first half. Uh-huh. He was amazing to end the year. Drew Smiley came back from, I forget what his injury was. He was amazing. Adrian Sampson, he looked a little shaky at first, and then he ended up the year like at a 3.2 ERA. And then we had the rookies come up. Wisniewski.
Oh, man.
What a debut from that guy. Just like a sub 2.5 ERA in his 6 outings. I think he made 5 starts.
And this is a guy the Cubs got at the trade deadline for Zach Efros, who was a reliever with team control, which was we were a little bit critical, and at least I was on the trade at first, because you're like, why are you trading a dude that's actually pretty inexpensive as a reliever that's actually been proven for this guy? And this guy, I mean, he's been fantastic. Like
I know he was amazing. That's the guy. It's like, all right, well, again, from right now, you want to use those guys as just your depth. In case there's an injury, it's like, all right, well, we know what this guy can bring. He can fill in. If it's a month, he can fill in for that month. You don't want to rely on him for you don't want to start the year next year and be like, all right, Hayden Wisniewski, we need 170 innings from you. Like, no, don't put that much pressure on a rookie guy. Justin Steele, like, just what a great guy to root for. Bulldog
he was the
mentality.
Most valuable Cubs pitcher. Yeah, 2.6 WAR. I mean, finished the season.
Keegan Thompson, another guy who was awesome throughout the year. Still kind of angry though. He gave up the lead the other day. Could have had the win over total.
Look at Steele's FIP, by the way. Like the bat BIP against him is 3.17.
He doesn't give up home runs. I think it was until June he gave up his first home run of the year.
Yep.
So again, there's a whole bunch of positive signs. And again, yes, maybe these games didn't matter. They weren't playing under pressure.
Right.
But they still played above 500 baseball for like the last 2 months of the year. That's something. They have Marcus Stroman. They have a set like. Oh, by the way, Kyle Hendricks can come back. He was injured all year. That's why he sucked. He had a shoulder injury.
Kyle Hendricks would thrive in like a 4 or 5 spot in a rotation.
Like that's the thing.
Fine.
Right now, Kyle Hendricks is like
velocity. He got with velocity.
Wow, Kyle Hendricks could be like our 5th starter. Yeah. He was literally the opening day starter in 2022 for the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And right now, he's probably maybe the 5th best option on the team.
And when you get a season like this too, where you're able to throw these guys out there, look, the one thing I think a bad season is pretty easy to kind of throw away as saying maybe the pressure's not on. But when you throw a guy on the bump, no matter what, that's an individual matchup. When you see the development of these guys on the bump over the course of the season, you can't throw that away. I can't toss aside good outings by a pitcher. I can toss aside, a guy going 4 for 4 against a guy that shouldn't even be playing in the major leagues right now because they're playing against the Pirates and that they also sold everybody on their roster and the bull, all the arms in their pen. But I can look at pitchers who are going after everybody's, even when you're playing, hitters, the Cubs, being out of it, they're not going to see everybody's number 1 and number 2. They're going to see their 4 5s, and in this case, pitchers don't. The pitchers got to see your 1 through 9 no matter what. So their development is far less fool's gold than something that you see from an offensive player because the stuff is still there. And you're seeing it against the actual dudes. That's the big part about seeing this pitching staff grow. And kudos to the Cubs for doing it. Justin Steele's performance this year, they've handled him every single step of the way, I feel, almost perfectly because of how they've stretched him out from a reliever and how they've just pushed him into this role. And you get him out there, and he doesn't, like you say, he doesn't give him home runs. It's like 0.6 per 9 innings. Or whatever. 0.6 for 9 innings, which is insanely good. Compared to Rowan Wicks, Kyle Hendricks is 1.6. Rowan Wicks too, though his was like what 1.29. So, but he's just it's great to see the Cubs developing. This is the probably the most. It doesn't mean the Cubs don't need to go after like a frontline starter if they can get it, or Ohtani. But you have at least something that even if the Cubs rolled out a better lineup offensively, that pitching staff can at least, if projected the way it is, and this doesn't even count, some of the other, players like Killian being horrible every time he came up, and he'll figure that out. But they've got what they need. I'm not trying to sell Jed on sitting on his hands when it comes to the pitching staff, but they wouldn't be dead even if the Cubs sat on their hands and like tucked it back. It doesn't matter. That pitching staff as is right now is decent, at least the starting five.
And that's the beauty of their new pitching development. That even with if Caleb Killian just doesn't figure it out again, I have no idea what happened to him, that he just could not find the strike zone this year. But even if he just it just didn't work, it's a bust. The Cubs still have like 4 to 6 other guys in their system right now at the upper levels or in the big leagues who you feel comfortable being like, it's fine. It's fine that one of these starting options just didn't pan out. And it's not like a big panic in the organization. Like, fuck, this was our guy, and he just couldn't figure it out, because you have Hayden Wisniewski, you have Ben Brown. I brought him up like a few weeks ago.
Adbert.
You were looking up Adbert. You still have Adbert. I was like, who's just like, even if he's not a starting pitcher, he's just like your long reliever to maybe Raylo type of pitcher. Javier Assad, who just came up back in August. He doesn't have the flashiest stuff, but the dude gets outs.
Aldo, do you think this is a result of them getting the dude from Cleveland that was like a master of finding pitching talent, or is this prior? Even some of these guys prior?
I think it was around when Theo left, or it might have been before his last year. They just basically replaced all of their hitting development and pitching development. They started all over again because their pitching development was a failure.
Didn't they hire like a driveline type company?
They added one of those guys, but I think, oh man, I feel I should know his name, but I forget Craig Breslow.
Okay,
he's the guy who was put in charge of the pitching development, and he basically is getting all the credit for this success that we're seeing.
It's fantastic. It's
Mitch, I think Dog sent you something.
Hopefully it's some nudes. That'd be great. Dog nudes. Oh man. I've got a few of those before.
And by the way, Carlos Correa, remember his shitty start? Turned out to be just amazing. I still love Carlos Correa.
I feel
third baseman, great.
The argument though can be made about Carlos Correa in meaningful baseball though. It seemed like he went.
He was carrying the offense in August when they're still in it.
Well, they went. Yeah,
but then, he was playing for the Astros in the World Series.
Yeah,
meaningful baseball.
He's been performing at a pretty high level for.
In fact, one would say that his down year is because he played for the shit ass Twins.
Could be,
and it's not even a down year.
Yeah, it's not even a down year. I mean, we were talking about how great Nico Horner was. Carlos Correa, his OPS is 100 points higher. Yeah, give me the love Nico Horner. Give me the star shortstop, Carlos Correa.
Yeah, but pay him extra to play third. Fuck it, pay him a convenience fee. He's not going to play short very long. He's probably got 1 or 2 seasons there, and after this,
take money to play for a winning team.
Wow.
Well, I was going to bring up because this is all being compared to the last rebuild that the Cubs had. That rebuild started in 2012, 2013, and then 2014. They went 73 and 89. What did they do that offseason? Signed John Lester, big free agent. He wasn't coming to a winning team, but they had to sell him on the plan. It eventually worked out. Cubs, we all knew this was a rebuild. We didn't know how long it was going to last. Again, I was more optimistic than others in terms of the length of it. This year, they finished 74 and 88. Go sign that big free agent, starting pitcher now, because you still need that.
Yep,
Marcus Stroman's been great, but he's not. He's like a 2. You still need that ace.
The Cubs doing this literally stamps down the final gavel on you have to spend this offseason. If you don't spend this offseason, you're taking a team that is just a couple pieces away from contending, and you're just wasting. And that will tell us everything we need to know about the front office and obviously ownership. This finish by the Cubs and the incredible positive goodwill they got in this finish only increases the optimism for Cub fans that it now expect more than they did even, that this rebuild and it becomes now a let's go after it this offseason and start spending on some free agents. If they don't, you're going to see a bigger backlash than even this year from just the regular fans. Even the meatball fans are going to start getting a little bit pissy because they're so close at this point. At least it looks like they're a lot closer than we saw. And, you could say about, this is a different type of rebuild than the original one. They had the talent this time that they had to trade away, but we can also flip it around and say, well, this is the equivalent of having a fantastic early drafts the way that Theo did with that group. This one happened to be trading away your superstars to get that type of talent as well in the organization. And one could argue that there's even more talent in the Cubs organization now, at least potential-wise, ceiling-wise, than even they had then. And so, it does suck, and I'm pissed off, and it does suck that how it happened. It should have been both. You should have been able to have both, I think. Having a good, the Dodgers have proven. I mean, the Dodgers have like 7 dudes in the top 100, and they are also, the best team by far in baseball. It's possible to do both, but if you're going to have to do it, this is just another way to skin a cat in a sense. And Theo's done a good job with it. I can't criticize that part of it. He's been shit with communication. He's been a doucher in all those types of fronts, but it's working. If they finish it this offseason and throw down those final pieces, it could work.
And just one last thing with this Cubs saga, like how aggressive they should be and how close they are to competing. The St. Louis, so congratulations to the Cardinals. Like, fuck you, but they won the division. They're not a juggernaut.
No,
they're not like the Braves, the Mets winning 100 games. They're not the Dodgers just dominating in the West. They're not the Yankees or like the Rays just being amazing throughout the entire year. They're not the Houston Astros. Like, you are in a very winnable division. And like the Milwaukee Brewers just like broke their fucking team psychology or their team psyche at the trade deadline because they just tanked right after what was it, August 1 or whatever.
Which was wild because the guys they traded away all played it like shit.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that was a weird thing because like that was kind of like a lose-lose for
everyone. Yeah, that was just weird. It's a weird situation, but
again, so it's like, the Brewers, they've been pretty solid pitching, but like their offense sucks. The Cardinals, they're just getting by because they're in a shit division. So Cubs just step up.
He had 35 homers this year.
Rowdy Tellez, I mean,
hey, he was pretty solid.
Double the White Sox team lead.
This would be an oucher. That would be an oucher. That would hurt. That would hurt my soul.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with it.
Not want to be facing Jose.
Well, no, I would because he wouldn't be on the Sox. So then I'd be pissed. But
Brewers.
Yep.
Speaking of people leaving, though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Were you going to bring up Wilson Contreras?
No.
I was going to bring him up in terms. I think it's been sadly made pretty evident to him. Just the Cubs haven't approached him at all.
They treated him like shit during the trade deadline too. Like, I wouldn't want to come back. Like, fuck you guys. I ain't taking a discount. I ain't coming back. You better come back.
I'm kind of glad that he's finally put his like feelings aside. He's like, well, fuck you guys too then.
Yep.
As
he knows he's not even going to get a QO. He's not going to get a QO. The Cubs don't want to risk paying him that much. I don't think. To be honest, that feels what it feels like. If they do, it's kind of a dick move because then his market will dry up fast. Because no one's going to give up trade picks because he's a kind of a question mark behind the dish now because he only caught like half the season, maybe like 60% of the season. So they're not even sure what the Cubs put him in bubble wrap.
Fans, you already have the 18 million or so towards Grandal. You have Sebi, solid season.
Mm-hmm.
But would you, under any circumstance, be like, fuck it, dump Grandal, get Contreras?
Nope. They can't. I mean, they're paying them too much money as it is. They're not going to eat all that money for another.
Yeah, that would be like 36 million into the catcher position for 1 year.
Another right-handed bat. Yay.
He's good. He kills it on the south side.
Real quick, and I'm surprised they didn't bring it up earlier. Obviously, Tony officially retired. I would like to say, though, we've had our differences with Tony throughout the year. I think he was a good manager. Absolutely not. I've disagreed with him multiple times, but I will give him props. He was very classy in his press conference and the way he headed out. He didn't have to say anything nice about White Sox fans. We certainly didn't treat him well, and he kept it classy on the way out. So props. Yeah. You know what? I will say this. You never questioned his effort. Like, you could tell he wanted to win. he just wasn't very good at it at his old geriatric age at this point. But I never questioned his desire to win, and props to him. I got respect for the guy, and hopefully he is healthy and good riddance.
And I thought it was classy of the players too to show up. What did they say? Like 90% of the locker room showed up to say, that press conference. That's class, man. That doesn't show a locker room that hate. There's 10% of those dudes that said "fuck off, old man." The rest of them actually gave a shit about the old man. So there goes your a lot of those theories that the locker room hated him. For some people that had that theory,
there was a disconnect there. I think everyone respected the fact he was a Hall of Famer. That doesn't mean they had to listen to him. Like my third grade teacher, who I remember so well. Yeah, she was a big Sox fan too. Yeah, I respect her, but there was anarchy in that classroom. No one listened to what she had to say. We all liked her and respected, but
what was her name? What was her name?
Mrs. Stevenson.
There you go. See, now you did remember her. There you go.
Yeah. She threw a party when Mark Burley threw a perfect game. They had a party the next day, so that's why I liked her.
Grade.
So how do you feel?
Fuck, dude. I got so drunk that night. Oh, I was at the game. Oh my god, dude!
With his teacher, Mrs. Stevenson, in third grade.
So it's just like you were in third grade.
You were in third grade.
Yeah, bottles in class. Fuck it,
dude. I got hammered that night. Oh man,
I was at the Palms.
So did Mitch at the party.
Yeah,
that happened.
Mitch got root beer drunk.
It was chaos in that class, and there was like black market eraser sales under the desk. Like there was no order whatsoever there.
Black market eraser sales. I feel like I'm gonna regret asking this, but hopefully we're all on the same page. Where are you guys at with Aaron Judge?
Good for him.
Congratulations.
Good year. Barry Bonds is still the home run leader, but good for him.
So the home run thing, the most impressive thing to me is this is the best like all-time bet on yourself move of all time.
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Contract year. What did he decline? Like 200 and something $1 million, and he's like, nah,
which
I'm
wild
good. I'll
be
be
at the
better.
Time. It was a wild move at the time for me.
Because it's like, dude, you're 30, you've been injured. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then he has the best season in 15 years or whatever.
Yep.
I thought Anthony Rizzo won when he bet on himself.
Yeah.
This is an entirely different level of perfectly betting on your. This is like Lamar Jackson right now in the NFL.
We're thinking Carlos Rodon. It's like, yeah, he signed the 1 year and then the option, but he could opt out. And it's like, oh, look at him. He's he's gonna get some Cy Young votes, but Aaron Judge, just historic season.
The most comparable, I think, was Max Scherzer turning down the $144 million, and then he signed for the Nationals for nearly twice that. But this is, like you said, this was almost better than Scherzer's year. And obviously, apples and oranges, position player and pitcher, but I mean,
you know what I can't wait for Roger Maris's son to go away.
People keep saying that. I don't even
understand that though.
I don't
go
know
away,
that.
buddy.
He's defending his dad's legacy. Give the break.
The amount of hand jobs he gave Mark McGwire in 1998.
Broadcast. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for him.
The hand jobs he gave to Mark McGwire and Mark McGwire in 1998 will never change for me. The sword touching and bringing the back. What grade were you in 98? Everyone knew they were juicing. The Andrew in his locker that was standing out was still everyone knew that. Everyone knew. I'm sorry. I will never go through the 90s and not know. How do you not know? Nobody's that aloof. It's just.
I keep seeing people having this take about Roger Maris' kid.
He's just been. He's been.
I guess I didn't even notice. I saw a couple quotes, but
he's been banging the drum and banging it.
Bother me at all. I guess I didn't pay close enough attention. Whatever. I mean, I think it's cool. I think Judge is the MVP of the AL. I get it. I mean, it's an amazing year. It's the ultimate bet on yourself year, which I think he's going to be the gold standard for that from now on. 10 years from now, there's going to be a guy that turns down a contract, and you're going to be like, oh, he's going to try to have an Aaron Judge season. You know what I mean? That's going to be a common phrase in baseball terminology, but good for him. He seems like a really good dude. Everything he's done is by the book, but at the end of the day, Barry Bonds is still a home run king in my opinion.
He can get intentionally walk 100 and whatever times.
With these home run chases too, and these record thing, honestly, I was more interested in Pujols' home run chase, but baseball's already tarnished all of their records. They don't mean anything anymore. We had a World Series champion that cheated, got caught cheating, got to keep their stuff. So our home run champion got caught with steroids. Like none of these records, like they kind of like lost. They don't mean anything. They've lost all credibility.
Hey, Yankees fans, did we get to throw out the entire steroid era of how many World Series you guys won as Yankees fans as a result of having a literally juiced up locker room? Like, take it out. Like, it's fine. You know what? Steroids don't hit a curveball and a fastball. It does help a little bit with recovery, but everybody was, again, Jose Canseco's not full of shit. He might be kind of cuckoo with like aliens and Sasquatches, but he's not full of shit when he says that everybody was doing it. That's the one honest thing that Jose Canseco has ever really thrown out in public that I will always take as fact more than anything else that he's ever said is everybody was doing it. And anybody says that they didn't, they're pretty much guys like Maddox that have dad bods. Yeah, probably not taking steroids, but anybody in that era that got through it looking like a fucking train. No, come on. And Judge, thank God, he's like 8 feet tall and like he's a freak. Like, so you don't have to worry. I'm not worried about him being on anything. And Green, yeah, Brian brings it up. Greeny's in the 70s and 80s. Oh, I'm sorry. Amphetamines. I'm sorry. That's banned in Major League Baseball now. Those are peds. So
I think the big annoying part is obviously it's Yankees fans. It's this is the real record, and like the annoying sports writers, fucking Tom Verducci wrote that SI piece. John Heyman's been banging about how this is the real home run record for a few weeks now.
Not passing.
They're interrupting college
not
football.
Passing.
Oh, that's the other thing. I didn't even notice that, but the the cut-ins on ESPN.
Honestly, I didn't mind, but like I could see where that pissed people off.
But
on my phone every time Aaron Judge came to the plate. I got a message from 7 different apps, like Hulu. I don't even Hulu doesn't even show baseball games. I'm getting a fucking Hulu.
But like I wonder if the tone would have been different if this was like like Vladdy Jr. Or like just not a Yankee.
Oh, for sure.
Like I think because like I was paying attention to it, but like I wasn't watching the game when he broke it. I didn't care that much. I don't know.
I was like, thank God it's over.
I thought it was cool, but I agree with Mitch earlier. I thought I was more invested in Pujols' chase. I think 700, like 62 is cool. It's an insane single season. 700 is you did it for a long time.
Hey, how about this? Hey, Aaron Judge, in the season that Aaron Judge hit that many home runs, someone Albert Pujols' age hit how many home runs?
24, I think. 25, maybe.
24 home runs from a dude that was basically on his way out all of a sudden in this era. That tells me what you've done with baseballs and what you've done with how you
right now
the pitching and changed the rules. They constantly
what did Mark McGwire leave behind in St. Louis for him? That's what I want to know.
He's just like rubbing his finger on McGuire's locker and rubbing it on his gums, going out there.
How many home runs does Barry Bonds hit if they don't have sticky stuff?
Yeah.
All the pitchers were on roids too, dude.
I mean, Barry Bonds would have had like easily 800 home runs if he didn't get blackballed at the end of his career. Right. He was still hitting 20 plus home runs his last couple of years.
And the other thing that people forget about all the time, Barry Bonds had 500 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds was not a one-trick pony, man. No. Like Barry Bonds stole.
I think he saw like McGwire and Sosa getting all the attention for hitting bombs, and he's like, all right, well, if that's what's gonna get headlines, fuck, I can do that too.
Yeah.
He was doing it in Pittsburgh with Bobby Bonilla, though. I mean, he never wasn't doing it, even when his head was the size of a regular person's head, and he didn't look like the bad guy from what is it? What's the Marvel bad guy? MODOK. He didn't look like MODOK, or is it MODOK?
No, I got what you're saying though, but it's just like, I mean, MODOK?
It's just so annoying. Like how Kevin said, or I think it was Yumper in the comments saying how
from Missouri.
Some media just wants to have fans forget the steroid era. Like it happened, guys. Like you're part of it too.
Not only did it happen, it saved baseball.
Yeah,
and you motherfuckers voted for Poppy. You voted for Poppy to get. He's a steroid abuser too. And you guys want to stand and pontificate now, even though you voted in the same guy because he was your buddy. Fuck off. Barry Bonds wasn't your friend. He was a baseball player. Poppy was your buddy. You loved him. You voted him in. Barry Bonds was a dick to you, and now you hate him for the rest of your life because you're a fucking you're vindictive media guy that never actually could even run a 60-yard dash in less than 10 minutes. So fuck it. It's a bunch of vindictive sports writer bullshit is what it is.
I don't feel bad for Barry though.
I don't feel bad for him either.
Barry doesn't feel bad for Barry. Barry doesn't give a shit. You see him on that live broadcast? He's laughing his ass off. He had a necklace around his neck that was worth like 10 years salary for me.
I bet you Barry Bonds
zero shits right now.
He could come back today and you give him 20 at bats in Major League Baseball, knowing he's probably not even on juice at this point. Probably. I think.
All right. Well, I mean, I think A-Rod made the joke.
He could do it.
I think A-Rod made the joke about calling Jerry Reinsdorf for.
Yeah, that made a lot of people mad. Like, we're such a joke that even that was suggested.
So Zoe and Mitch, how much you offering Barry Bonds to come back?
Yeah,
left-handed power.
Half a jar of mustard pickle.
Yeah. Barry doesn't. I was actually very surprised. I'm very curious as to how much ESPN paid him to come on that broadcast, because Barry doesn't do that shit.
No, the last time I saw him on something was at a dog show. He was at
Can I tell you guys about how much the MLB PAA charges for player appearances?
$10,000.
No, but well, I mean, they do make a little bit of money for showing up on appearances for things like that. So,
but I don't know. I'm just saying, like, Barry doesn't give a fuck, and that's the other, like, people give a fuck.
He wants to be in the Hall of
Barry
Fame.
Bonds gives a fuck.
But he wants to be in the Hall.
But the Hall of Fame's a fucking joke now. I don't take the Hall of Fame seriously whatsoever.
That's a valid point.
The guy who has the most home runs in baseball isn't in there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's a fucking
If
joke.
you're looking at some of these other Hall of Fames, like, it is the hardest one to get into.
I understand that. I guess I need to rephrase
here's the bullshit
that,
stuff too. Like, it's like with, again, we talk about the Hall of Fame. I didn't vote for them this year because I don't think they're the first ballot Hall of Famer, but I'll vote for them next year. They're a Hall of Famer now or they're not, dude. They're not playing any more games between now and then. Okay, it's how many HJs you can get under the table while in between, you dick. Like, that's the problem I have with the Hall of Fame. Either you are or you aren't.
To the big Poppy thing you said earlier, it comes down to if you were cool with the media or not. Poppy did roids. He ate fucking Barry Bonds never tested positive for steroids. Poppy did.
Yep. Sosa never
Poppy's
did either. And as
Fame.
much as
I think my thing is with the same thing with Pete Rose. Like, the Baseball Hall of Fame is all about telling, like, the history of baseball, and you cannot tell the history of baseball without Pete Rose or Barry Bonds. Therefore, they should be in the Hall of Fame.
The guy with the most home runs, the guy with the most hits, the guy with the most strikeouts. All three of those guys are not in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
How am I supposed to take that seriously?
No, that's fair.
And it's so, again, these most of these sports writers that still have this vote covered these dudes and said nothing as it happened. Not even writing about suspicions of. Everything was puff throughout the 90s, during this whole era, even the early 2000s. It was puff. And you can't sit here and now pontificate, what was it? John Heyman voted for Barry Bonds last year. In December of 2021, voted for Barry Bonds for the Hall of Fame, and then had the balls to come out and say this year, 9 months later, 10 months later, that this home run, that Judge is the real home run king after he just voted for Barry Bonds for the Hall of Fame. Which one is it, dude? Well, this is also the dipshit that thought check swings, even if you move the bat, should be a strike. So, some of these guys are just morons, or it's clickbait.
Yeah.
It's an easy story to tell too. I mean, you go pro Barry Bonds, you get clicks. You go anti Barry Bonds, you get clicks.
That's in the chat. Brian says Herb Lawrence would murder Heyman in a dash, and then from the clouds, Herb goes, "Damn straight, Brian. What up, Herb?" But yeah, I mean, that's that. And then the other thing I wanted to touch base on, as we're hitting this hour and a half before we get into the NASCAR minutes, so all you guys can get your NASCAR boners, whatever. Who you guys like? Playoffs are set. Who do we like? What's going on in the playoffs?
Dodgers. Hot take, I know.
So
We're gonna go ahead and mute Mitch's mic and go ahead.
I was gonna say my list, or like my preference of who I want to win goes Mariners, Blue Jays, Padres.
They play each other in the wild card game.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna have at least one of them. One of them is gonna go through.
Yep.
Padres third, then kind of everybody else, then like Death, and then the Cardinals at the end.
Yep. Well, that's just fair.
I for some reason I don't. Usually I fucks with the Padres. I like the Padres. I fucks with them. I said it on Twitter. I want to see a Mariners Braves World Series, and I know the Braves just won it, but that just means the Dodgers aren't in it.
Yep.
I like to see the big teams lose, unless they're.
Oh yeah, I would. I thought you were talking about like who's our favorite.
No. Well, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm rooting for the Mariners then.
Yeah, if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, it's a complete fucking.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I'm rolling Phillies. I'm rolling Phillies because it's Kyle Schwarber.
Had a great year. Quiet, great year from Schwarber, too.
40 what? 40, what do you have? 40?
First,
45 or 46.
Wasn't he?
46?
Something like first Phillies outfielder to hit over 40 home runs in like a fucking, like 100 years or some shit like that.
Non-tendered by the Cubs.
Pretty decent. Could he use that?
Non-tendered by the Cubs.
Mitch, for Christ's sake, check your fucking DMs.
I'm checking the DM.
Look, I'll say this. I want the Phillies to win. I would absolutely love it if the Braves won. Again, I actually do. I love how the Braves have they do this thing. Now, this is their shtick, I guess. Kind of got to tread water until like August and then fucking just roll and do
something
this.
About the Braves, I don't like. They've been cheating. I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out one of these days. I don't know what underhanded bullshit they did with the Ozzy Albies contract and the Ronald Acuna Jr.
That's
contract.
the thing.
There's some shady shit going on.
And the Harris contract now. And
yes.
the Danzig. I mean, that's why I like the Braves is because they have like an uber competent front office.
But it's like the Ozzy Albies contract was opposite.
It's like the opposite of what the White Sox try to do what the Braves do.
Yeah.
But that's because Jerry hires like his cousin's best friend as the negotiator. Because they got to stay in house.
But the Braves go, they get these guys, and then as soon as they see like whatever brilliance, and they probably have a legit analytics department, and they're like, hey, this Willie Harris kid's gonna be good for a very long time. Like, lock it up. And they go and they lock it up, and like same thing with Albies, Acuna, all these guys. They lose Freddie Freeman, everyone, ooh, and then they go out and fucking replace him like it's no big deal. Yeah,
no big deal. Yeah.
Well, Olsen decided to start playing in like I don't know 2 months ago.
Yeah,
like but now he's.
Can we agree? Can we agree in this chat though that fuck Houston? Is that a full
that's
a 4 for 4?
Yeah, okay,
I just don't like the Astros.
Screw the Indians. Obviously, I hope they get actually boat race in the first round, just because it's
Tampa Bay. They will.
They've been guys.
Cleveland tried to
that finished above 500. Relax.
Cleveland tried to do what Tampa Bay does every year, and Tampa Bay is going to out Tampa Bay them in the wild card round.
Cleveland already won the World Series. The World Series was winning the division. They had no expectations.
That's it.
Right. Yeah,
but I mean,
they already won.
I would like the way in my head it plays out. Tampa Bay beats Cleveland in the wild card, and Seattle beats Toronto, which sucks, but yeah. And then the Yankees are going to, or then I could actually see Tampa Bay beating the Yankees. That's another reason why I want Tampa Bay to fucking.
I could too.
I feel like the Yankees are ripe for a knockout, like whoever they face early. I feel like
there was so much hype around this season, and like up and down, and then the home run chase, and then like it's going to be like
somebody will be hungrier. Someone will be
Tampa
hungry.
Bay's going to show up like the junkyard dogs they are, and they're going to fucking take it to them.
Well,
I'm in for that too. I would love that. Be
the
great.
Yankees got more to lose too. I mean, the teams that have nothing to lose are always dangerous in the postseason. In Tampa Bay, it seems like every year they come in, like no one has them favored. They just keep scraping out wins. They don't really put a whole lot of pressure.
That's what I'm saying. Cleveland does what Tampa Bay does.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay is going to out Tampa Bay Cleveland.
Yeah, totally agree.
Watch what happens in the Yankees series too, because obviously this is probably the last season they'll have with Judge, right? So watch every time like they lose like game one. Like whoever plays the Yankees, taking game one of that series is so integral. You take game one of that series and everything starts cracking all the way throughout, not only the franchise, but the fan base. And then you know, all of a sudden, even if you split, you take a series lead, that fan base will absolutely just self-destruct, just like the Mets fans are doing right now. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed watching the Braves overtake the Mets, and the Cubs helped because F the Mets right there, sideways with the fungo. Bend it over. I don't care. It's fantastic to watch a franchise like that with a fan base like that just eat turds.
Hold on. Stick with the American League. So,
sorry.
To your other point, though, if Tampa Bay, all right, let's just assume Tampa Bay beats Cleveland. And then they go and play New York, game one in the Bronx. Garrett Cole's on the bump, and they take that game.
Done.
Game. I'm going to any betting app I can and just put the series on Tampa Bay. And the only thing that I really want to see in that series, there's two things that I really, really, really want to see in that series. One, I want to see Josh Johnson fuck up something royally.
Another reason they're not like the Yankees.
Just because he's a massive deuce canoe. Second of all, I want to see that Hector Neris, I said his name right? Hector Neris, the pitcher that does all the
right?
Johnny Cueto light.
Oh.
I want to see him just get shelled.
Yes.
I want to see him get absolutely shelled. He's probably a good guy or whatever, but one, he took Dylan Cease's All-Star game spot just because he's on the Yankees.
Salty.
And two, he's Johnny Cueto light. And it just, for some reason, pisses me off. And I hate how Yankee fans put him on this pedestal.
He's not even Johnny Cueto light. Like, does he have an ambulance with 46 speakers? No. He owns goats on like a horse ranch? No. Does he run upstairs before every game? No.
This is why Mitchell should carry his own microphone, just like Aldo, to drop it, because that was a drop moment.
And then you get Seattle, Toronto, which I mean that's just that game. That's a heartbreaker for me.
I'm rooting for whoever comes out.
That's a win-win. That's a win-win, though, man.
I love both those teams, but I really want to see Seattle do it. I've been riding that Julio, AL Rookie of the Year.
You've been riding his rod.
Been riding the rod, baby.
Is that the dude that was the interview with the former executive that said that they were holding him down for a reason? Is that the same kid?
No, that was Kalenic.
So.
Oh, that's
Kalenic. Yeah.
He hasn't been good.
I will say that I think the Blue Jays have a better shot at beating the Astros than the Mariners do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like the ace guy and
also the Blue Jays have the hottest player in the planet on their team. Bo Bichette. I think he hit like over 400 in September.
Great.
Yeah. He was just a machine, dude. But I just want to see Houston lose. I fucking hate Houston.
I think we're all in agreement on
that. Would be great too, like intra-division stuff. Houston, Seattle.
And then on the National League side, I'm gonna say I want to see the Phillies beat the Cardinals.
I just want to see Schwarber like just hit home runs after home run against the
dongs. Yeah, dongs.
I get the Cardinals and I will, as someone that like actively hates the Cardinals. It's not that I hate the team; it's more I hate the fan base. But I hate the fan base enough where I hate the Cardinals that much. But I will give them credit. I really dug the whole Wainwright, Molina, and Pujols walking off the last game at Busch Stadium together at the same time. I thought that was kind of dope. They actually gave him the moment. White Sox, Abreu, you fucking.
Yeah, I know. It would have been doper his last game because like Paul Konerko got like such a good farewell, before it comes up, and Abreu sitting in the dugout watching him get walloped.
I thought he was gonna get like pinch hit for to just give him one last
ovation. He sat there with his hoodie up the whole game and just
that's weird. That is kind of weird.
But anyways, I want to see the Phillies beat them. Phillies Atlanta series that's going to be a dope one. That's an appointment television series for me. I'm going to watch every one of those.
Atlanta's going to smoke them.
I don't want to get too excited either, though, with the Phillies thing, but look at Bryson Stott's numbers dating back to like September 25th.
Super weird you brought up a Vegas guy.
Look at his numbers. I mean, you can't fault someone.
He's good.
400 in the last 3 weeks. He's peaking. Little dude's figured it out a little bit.
He's showing some pop too. No, he's a very good player. Ever since you brought him up as someone that the White Sox could have potentially traded Liam Hendricks for at the beginning of this year, I've been following him. And you guys all know I play MLB The Show. He got like a 96 rookie card early in the season.
Kimbrel, by the way. I didn't say trade Hendricks for him, though. Make sure. Kimbrel.
Was it Kimbrel? Oh,
just Kimbrel.
One of the closers. But
hell gang.
And then on the bottom corner of that bracket, you got San Diego. The Mets. I want San Diego to just pound them. Yes. I feel like the Mets are a defeated team already. The fact that Atlanta buried them like that, I feel like the Mets have an insane pitching staff. I mean, let's call it what it is. That pitching staff is built for postseason. You know what I mean? Like
short series,
all that shit. But it's the Padres. I like the Padres. Future.
Hey, you Darvish.
Padres don't have the pitching. They don't have the pitching to make it through that series. I'm not saying the Mets are going to make a run, but they will make it out of that first round. I don't trust the Padres whatsoever.
The only reason, I kind of want to see, I think the Mets are going to beat the Padres. Their pitching is just ridiculous. But I just want to see Mets Dodgers. So
Mets Dodgers. I think MLB wants to see Mets Dodgers too, because whenever you get East versus West Coast and two major markets like that, I mean, the Padres Dodgers is cool. It's a big rivalry or whatever, but like you're alienating 75% of the country. Especially because those games are going to be at 9:00 at night.
And that's the thing with the Mets and the Padres. Either way, there's going to be a meltdown because the Padres have spent all this money. They've made all these moves, and if they just have nothing to show for it, like year 3 now.
The Padres took a huge hit. I mean, let's not act like they're whole.
Hey, I mean, again, the Braves lost Acuna. Tatis did that on his own.
Yeah.
Number one, motorcycle
right.
accident. That was on him. That wasn't a freak accident.
I
And number
understand.
two, he got caught juicing.
You have to really fuck up to get caught juicing these days. But anyways.
Oh, and by the way, the motorcycle accident, multiple times. I don't feel sorry for them.
So I think I got the Braves beating the Phillies, and then I think the Dodgers beat whoever they play. So then you get a little rematch of Atlanta, LA. I mean, I already said I'm going to go Braves. I think the Braves can win this whole fucking thing again.
They just have such a good team.
They're playing well at the right time too. Like they got a late season charge, so
I mean, they've been great. They've been playing they're going
to be so good for so long.
They've been winning at a 720 clip for like 3 months.
I mean,
stupid good.
We're starting to get, and we're not there yet. I'm saying we're potentially going to see like 90s Braves again.
They already won like 4 in a row.
And they're getting DeGrom this offseason too.
And they're going to get DeGrom this offseason. You heard that here first. If that does happen, I want all my roses. I want all the roses because I've been saying that now for like a month and a half.
You've talked me into it. Now I firmly believe that's going to happen.
And it's going to be Mets fans are going to have fucking aneurysms. It's going to be a pandemic in New York.
It's going to be kind of funny though.
Oh my! That one big dude that I retweeted his video from Barstool.
Frank
he needs to be on like 24/7 suicide watch.
Oh my god! You know what I'm thinking about?
Tim, is his name Tim? Is it Tim? No,
Frank.
The big guy with the beard, right?
Frank. No, Frank. Yeah.
Frank.
DeGrom goes to DeGrom goes to the Braves. Big boy uncle, what the hell's his name? Steve or whatever. He's
Steve
like,
Cohen.
all right, yeah, Steve Cohen. He's like, all right, fuck, we need a pitcher. Gets Rodon, and then everyone's right about Rodon.
Yep.
With history, with like his health history. It's like,
he goes to the Mets.
He goes to the Mets, and then just
in New
their
York.
training staff messes him up.
Stay with
It'll
me.
manifest in New York.
Stay with me before we get to NASCAR minute. Before fucking speaking of aneurysms, yeah, dog's about to kick it if we don't fucking get to NASCAR minute. But
if we don't cut the cake here in a second.
He's got 39% on his phone, dude. 39% on your phone should last like 2 hours. Anyways,
hey, your Razor doesn't even have video, dude. What the hell?
I picture him as a sidekick guy. Anyways,
yeah, it's a sidekick for sure.
Follow me here, fellas, because I'm gonna go off on one of my words. So, DeGrom goes to the Braves. Steve Cohen, Monopoly man, has money that we can't even fathom. He turns around, offers Aaron Judge the biggest contract in the history of all sports. Aaron Judge, all he has to do is go to the Mets. That's not that far fetched.
That's not that far fetched.
That's not that far fetched.
It's not.
That'd be insane. New York
they're getting because Nimmo's going to be a free agent, so he's probably going to walk.
And apparently, every White Sox fan wants Nimmo. I'm good, dude. I'm
I'll
not
be
that sold
honest.
on him.
It's like,
people are like talking about him like he's Aaron. Like he's not that good. Like I don't know.
No,
this impression. He's good. He's pretty good.
No. Okay. White Sox fans can't be like, we need a right fielder. Now I get it. You can say that you don't want Brandon Nimmo, but come on now. Brandon Nimmo would be your best right fielder since
I'm good with that.
Bagley.
So you got to understand. Like I will take Brandon Nimmo, but you should see the way these people are talking about him. Although they're talking about him like we're going to sign like the next it's unbelievable.
Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this?
He's not great yet.
Trey Turner, Yumper.
Are you guys ready for this the entire offseason?
So I start marching my way down to Carol and HR, and I knock on her door and I say, Carol!
Oh, yeah, the conspiracy,
Carol, I talk to you about Pepe, and when I open the door, what do I find? There's not a single goddamn desk in that office. There is no Carol in HR.
That's it. That's the offseason in a nutshell.
Yumper wants to know, me and Mitch, so basically he wants the outsiders to weigh in. Who realistically do you think the big free agent that the Cubs are going to sign? You're going with Trey Turner? Yeah, I've been saying Trey Turner for a while too.
More value.
The sweet spot Cubs signing, like they can say they spent some money. It wasn't they don't.
And he can play six different positions. He can play 6 different positions for
I love that.
On the flip side, they want to know you two who you actually think the White Sox free agents will sign. You could say they're not.
Tyler Naquin?
I mean, you could definitely say Mitch Haniger and be correct, or you could say someone else. I mean, The silence is deafening. All right, on that note.
I feel like the White Sox make a trade. No,
I gave you an answer. Tyler Naquin.
Okay.
Left-handed outfielder. You're not going to be happy about it.
Shock the world. I say the White Sox go out and they go get a washed up. No, not washed up at all. They get they let Abreu go and they get Josh Bell.
Ooh, okay. No,
So you said just like you just saw some bad nudity in an old movie.
Then why would you get another first baseman?
Like why?
The whole
like,
point of getting rid of Abreu is we have too many first basemen.
That's true.
That makes sense.
Okay. If your damn left fielder could be a left fielder instead of a DH, it'd be better too.
He's not though. That's the problem.
Like you said, Zoe, you said this at the beginning of the show, and
what about Benintendi? But I can't even say his name. Benintendi.
Oh wait, whatever happened to that fucking dude from the Mets? Conforto.
He's
a hack.
He's like QAnon. Like I don't know what he's doing, dude.
Is Jock a free agent? Like, is this?
Yes,
he is. But
it's happening again. Let's go.
I'm not saying his name. So all right, fucking
Huck
yeah, dog.
Peterson.
Whip it out, yeah,
it's
dog.
time.
It's time for NASCAR Minute. All right, go, Mitch, go.
All right. We're in Talladega this week. Super Speedway, fastest track in NASCAR. And I will be honest, there's probably more action between the races this week than there was on the track. We'll get to that in a second.
Hey-o.
So during the in between the week, there's drivers. They're kind of pissed because there's a concussion problem. It's almost like the NFL. They're having concussion issues now. The new car, not so safe. You hit the wall backwards at the rear. People are getting concussions. Kurt Busch out for the season. William Byron, who Denny Hamlin famously called a hack too. He's kind of like Michael Conforto. He's out for the season. He has a concussion. So the guy that went drunk to Waffle House that's always throwing up in the car, he got to drive William Byron's car. No, not that guy. He was in the back again. He sucks. He was taking over for his ride. So Byron, Bowman, the guy that got the concussion, he's probably going to be out for the playoffs now. He's taking his health seriously. So good for him. But the drivers are like, hey, we're pissed off. This car ain't safe. We might strike. And then meanwhile, William Byron, who this is at Yacht Dog's request, he's the guy that ran Denny Hamlin off the track during a caution last week. NASCAR slapped him with a 25-point penalty. So he went from being safe to below the cut line. Major playoff implications. I don't care because my guy Suarez is safe for right now. All right, we'll get to the race at Talladega. Harrison Burton, rookie, in the back. He got turned, couldn't handle the push. Stenhouse, he jackknifed some mini car crash, collect some people. So now we had Joey Logano. We have his photo. See if you can find it correctly. Yeah, there he is.
I'm getting better, dude.
Before the race, he was complaining about super speedways. He's like, it's not real racing. All the guys that are working hard up front, they always get caught up in a wreck. And then
this guy sounds like a guy that would say that type of bullshit.
Yeah, and he's like, and then there's all these cherry pickers. And see, I'll do another flashcard, see if you can think of who he's talking about. All these guys running in the back, they reap the benefits from other people's misfortune. Basically, he was talking about like the BJ McLeods of the world that they scored a top 10 at Daytona because they're riding the back and there was a big wreck. So after the Burton crash, Logano, he kind of got caught in it and he's like, screw this. I can't move up in the field. It's kind of hard to pass. I'm just waiting back because in all these super speedway races, there's always the big one. And the big one is going to take out half the field. So he's like, I'm waiting in the back. I ain't running up front this time. I'm doing the opposite of what I said I do. I'm not working hard. I'm waiting for the big one. All right, so that's the race. He's just kind of riding around in the field. Track position's key. Very hard to move up. And so now, biding his time. All of a sudden, there's like 6 laps to go. Like the big one hasn't come yet. And so it's like, oh, shoot, Logano's kind of in trouble. And then a caution comes up. Some jackass got stuck in a pit stall, which, it's kind of weird because in the pit stall, there's usually cars there during green anyways, but they threw the caution. So now we have a green right checker, which means they're going to throw the green flag. They're going to run a lap. Then there's going to be the white flag, which is the last lap. Check the flag. So it's kind of like an overtime type of thing. So they're stacking the cars back up. Here we go. Pair of Chevys. They're leading the top lane with Eric Jones and Ross Chastain. There's a bunch of Ford Mustangs. They're in the lower lane. It's Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell. McDowell, he gets the better push. So Blaney goes to the lead off the first turn. So Elliott, now he's in the lower lane. He decides to bail. He breaks rank. He's like, I'm joining my Chevy buddies up top. So he cuts off the top lane. Now he's in the front of the top lane. He gets a push all of a sudden from the 43 car of Eric Jones. So there he gets in front of his nose. Jones gives him a push. Here comes Elliott to the outside. He's got some help from Jones. Blaney, he's holding firm though through turns 3 and 4. Right flags in the air. Here comes Chase. Another shove from Jones. The toothless townies from Tuscaloosa. They're going crazy. Their boys in front. One of their own. Chase Elliott. I'm freaking out. I don't want Chase Elliott to win. Elliott, he starts squeezing Blaney to the lower lane. Total chicken shit move. Not really. I mean, it was a clean move, but, just good racing from Chase. But I didn't like it. He's squeezing with the lower lane. McDowell, he doesn't really give a crap, though. So he gets a great push from Blaney. He gets a good push from McDowell. McDowell's like, hey, I ain't giving up yet. Finally, Jones says, I'm done pushing you, Chase. I'm going to try and move to the outside. But at this point, Chase is too far ahead. He's rocketing to the finish. Blaney, one last ditch move to the outside. Couldn't get there. Chase crosses the finish line first. He's guaranteed a spot in the round of 8, and it was a waste of 3 hours on my Sunday. But yeah, now we're headed to the Roval. Charlotte Roval, half road course, half oval. It's a wild race, elimination race. 7 spots up for grabs. Fire it. He kind of needs to win. It's going to be intense. Who knows? There's your NASCAR man.
If you're new to this segment, that's me and Fidge just hitting random pitchers, trying to throw Mitch off. But some of them actually go with what he's saying.
I like the end of it. It was accidentally Cars. It was like the dude from Cars.
That's perfect. Pit stop.
Pit stop. Yeah.
This is my new favorite pitcher to just throw up while you guys are talking. This is
Brian Christensen for no reason, but like shave Brian Christensen.
Yep. And then we just throw up random because if you're not used to this, we got a bunch of pitchers over here that the football guys cleaned us out. A lot of them.
They did. But, I don't need fucking. I mean, do you really need neck beard? I mean, that's good.
But yeah. Jesus,
what about look at this. What? Leather helmets, but
I don't know how this would play.
That would not play.
If we started the show with it, but
thank you. There's a good one.
Kevin Harvick, he was one of the people causing all the issue. He was kind of raising hell. Him and Denny Hamlin were having a conniption fit about the car. And, coincidentally, NASCAR suspended his crew chief for 4 races because they found something wrong with his car. I think it was, shut up, old man, quit criticizing us. So they slapped a suspension on him. But, who knows?
All right.
Way too much color on here.
An insanely long show. So for the young Padawan NASCAR Mitch, the good Reverend K Fids, Aldo, I'm Southside, so we'll see you guys.